Hello and welcome to another Den of Iniquity. I'm Giz, and this week, well, myself and Greeny were sitting down a while ago and he showed me a bunch of shorts and it kind of got us talking about an interesting little juxtaposition. So basically what I'm doing is the pros and cons of short horror versus feature-length horror. And, well, I think first off the main one is this. The reason why we can sit down and watch short horrors and kind of think that they're really cool is because, especially in comparison with feature-length ones, is that I think with feature-length films sometimes they kind of shoot themselves in the foot insofar as the suspense goes. Now, what I mean by that is they're either taking too long building stuff for an anti-climax that just wasn't worth it, or else the pacing isn't quite right, and as a result you end up with this kind of, fragmented kind of suspense, no. In contrast, if you were to watch some short movies, and we were actually, as an example, Greeny threw up some stuff by a crew called Bloody Cuts Films. They're actually fair decent, but he asked me what I thought of them, and the thing that really stuck out for me was the fact that because these are short films, you only have a certain amount of time to work in them. You only have a certain amount of suspense that can be put into them, and you certainly only have a certain leeway, and I know I'm saying certain a lot, when it comes to how that suspense is distributed over the course of the film. Basically what it comes down to is you don't have a long enough time to fuck it up like you might do in a feature-length film by, screwing about and fucking up as I said, it's either suspense and nothing, or else it's all build up and no fucking climax because you're a bad date. So that's one major thing. The other major thing, and another reason why a lot of times it was kind of part of the conversation was going back to how perhaps the old Vincent Price films, things of that generation, House on Haunted Hill, the notion that you get a better feel for the characters. Well, it's really quite a simple thing that nowadays they write, back then they wrote sympathetic characters, nowadays they write pathetic characters. I mean, come on, we want people to be fucking whacked nowadays. That's why we're getting crap in the cinema. And it's not because we're all of a sudden desensitized. No, it's because you're not writing characters that we give a fucking shit about. I mean, at the end of the day, I have more concern for, those voluptuous teenagers in, the original Friday the 13th movies than I would for, a kid in Oculus or Inception or whatever, Insidious or whatever other crap you've churned out in front of us that's just another repackaging of the same old stuff that we've seen for the last decade and century and a half actually at this stage. Ha! But whereas with the short horror, once again, you have a limited time. You either write a character that you feel sympathy for or stick a character in a situation, but the point is you don't have long enough to fuck it up, which is what's happening. Now, I'm all in favour of feature-length horror movies, I really am. But for the love and honour of the gods, how about, giving us decent ones? And I'm not just on about special effects and gore. I'm on about, once again, the writing aspect of things. I know I've harped on about this before, but it's kind of fucking important when you're doing a film, or any kind of story for that matter. Now, yeah, as a writer, I admit, I'm not very good at writing sympathetic characters, which is why I avoid it in my stories and just go straight to the but do it in such a way that it's actually entertaining and hopefully original. But, if you're going to do a story that's character driven, especially nowadays where, we're getting a lot of supposedly tense horror movies where it's all scary build up and no fucking climax, like I said earlier, then the least you could do is write as characters that are actually decent, as opposed to people that were sitting out waiting for something horrible to happen to them so that we can go, yes, about time that fucking stupid ass bastard died. Because that's what it seems you're giving us a lot of the time. People that are so thick, they deserve to die. People that are so callous and ironic, and these are the protagonists, that they deserve horrible endings. I mean, where's the point in giving us this awesome, visually entertaining story, that's if you even bother to do that, when the whole time you're looking at characters and just thinking, yeah, okay, I want to see the big scary thing, not because I want to see the big scary thing, but because I want to see that stupid motherfucker die. I mean, the sooner they die, the happier I'll be. Maybe that's the effect you're going for, but I doubt it if you're continuously doing it, because, there's only so much of that anyone can take without kind of going, oh, it's the same crap that we're always seeing before. Build your characters with some form of sympathy. It doesn't have to be a lot of depth, but you should at least kind of go, oh no, when something horrible happens to them, because otherwise, where's the fucking thrill? Where's the anticipation of the terror? Where's anything, really? I mean, Jesus Christ, that's just like sitting and watching an action film, except it's an action film in a dark setting with something that's supposed to be scary. That's not horror. That's just an action film. As I said, I think that the shorts nowadays, at least, tend to have the advantage because they have basically very affordable special effects that are very believable in how they can be pulled off. I mean, Jesus Christ, you can probably rip all the software off the net, find all the YouTube videos for how to do this stuff, make a horror film yourself that will genuinely probably stomp all over 90% of the fucking feature length shite that we get. And all because mainly because there's not enough time to actually fuck it up the way that most people seem to be doing nowadays. I don't know why. It's actually a terrible thing to have to say, but it's the truth. In a day and age where we should be getting to sit down for like an hour and a half or 2 hours of non-stop nail-biting thrills, we're instead sitting down for an hour and a half, 2 hours of oh look, the credits. Film's over. What's the fucking point? So, at the end of the day, what it really comes down to is it's not mainly... It is because they don't, they have a certain amount of time, but that's just meaning that they have to make the most of that time as opposed to making a shite out of a feature-length presentation just for the sake of churning something out. If you're going to make us films, cool, off you go. If you're going to have characters in them we're supposed to feel sympathy for, then write them well. Don't just, give us someone pretty and expect that we're going to go, oh no. The short movies, I recommend anyone that's into horror to go out at the moment. Now is the time. As I mentioned at the start of this, there's that crew, Bloody Cuts. They do some fairly decent stuff. There's a lot of really good short horror out there. If you're interested, go check out The Raven's Nest, because Raven's always sticking up that short horror stuff. I have to admit, I don't always go and check them out, but that's because I'm a lazy bastard. At the end of the day, I'll be watching like 50 bajillion things at once, so that I can then come along here and give you my opinion on why they all suck. So, yeah, at the end of the day, short horrors, they don't have the time to fuck things up. Feature-length films sometimes have too much time to fuck things up and feel like they're just jamming stuff in to fill out the time. If you're just jamming stuff in to fill out the time, take all that budget, take all that stuff, and make a damn good fucking short horror movie. Because you get more fucking respect. End of discussion. Like what you see? Have an opinion on what I might have said or what someone else here might have said? Yeah, might as well let us know. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on stuff, because hey, you never know, we might decide to actually comment back.